They tell you that money is the product of hard work. They tell you success is the reward for talent. They tell you greatness is reserved for the fortunate few, the ones born under a different star. But the truth, the immutable, silent, and sometimes terrifying truth, is that success is merely the external manifestation of an internal command. The life you are currently living, the triumphs, the struggles, the fortunes you possess, and the ones you don't, all of it is a harvest. A harvest planted in the deep, fertile, uncomplaining soil of your own subconscious mind. You walk through this world believing you are steering the ship, yet you are often nothing more than a passenger reacting to the waves. The real captain, the silent force that sets the compass and dictates the speed, is below deck. That force is your subconscious mind. It does not judge, it does not argue, it simply receives and executes. It is the perfect, tireless servant. The problem is, most people feed this perfect servant garbage. They feed it doubt, fear, the casual complaints overheard on the news, the limiting beliefs inherited from cautious parents, and the whispers of failure from tentative peers. And then they wonder why their harvest is filled with weeds. You want a definite chief aim. You want riches, peace, or a legendary impact. You must first learn the art of command. You must stop merely wishing and start deliberately depositing the exact blueprint of your desired life into the only mechanism that can build it. Look at the true masters, the titans like Andrew Carnegie, who armed himself with a definite vision of wealth, or Thomas Edison, who knew that 1,000 failures were simply 1,000 ways not to invent the light bulb. What separated them was not superior talent, but superior mental architecture. They understood that before the light could manifest in the physical world, it had to be programmed meticulously and relentlessly into the dark engine of their own mind. This is the hinge upon which all mastery turns, the ability to control the input. The moment you accept that your subconscious mind is merely a delivery system, not a philosophical debater, your life begins to change. It is not capable of distinguishing between a real, lived experience and a vividly imagined, emotionally charged thought. To it, they are both merely data points, instructions for what to manifest next. Think about the common man's routine. He wakes up, grabs his phone, and immediately deposits fear, inadequacy, and distraction into his system. He then spends 8 hours executing tasks driven by other people's agendas, and concludes his day with television, which programs him further into passivity and consumption. Every day he is programming his life for mediocrity, and he is doing it voluntarily. The command is clear: remain where you are, be comfortable with the average, and the subconscious, that powerful, loyal servant, obeys perfectly. But what if you chose a different command? What if, instead of passively receiving, you actively dictated? The first act of self-mastery is to enforce a period of radical, self-imposed silence around your desired outcome. You must shut out the noise that contradicts your aim. Every negative word you speak about your finances, every doubtful conversation you permit about your business, every piece of media you consume that makes success feel impossible, these are all counter-commands. They are programming your subconscious to sabotage your conscious goals. This is not some abstract spiritual exercise. This is mental discipline. It is the discipline of a scientist guarding a critical experiment, ensuring no contaminants enter the sterile environment. Your mind, when focused on a magnificent purpose, is the most volatile and magnificent experiment on earth. You need to establish the definite chief aim not just as a goal you want, but as a burning, already achieved fact in the theater of your mind. Napoleon Hill spoke of this as creating a money consciousness, but it is not just about money. It is a consciousness of any great achievement. It is the ability to see the completed skyscraper while you are still standing on the empty lot. Walt Disney was famously fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination, yet he commanded his mind to see worlds that did not exist. Lincoln, before he became the great emancipator, endured overwhelming personal and political defeats. The difference was not their external reality, but the persistent, unyielding image they held internally. They refuse to let the temporary reality of the senses overwrite the absolute reality they were demanding from their subconscious. This requires autosuggestion. This is where most people fail. They try to speak their wish into existence once, maybe twice, and then they stop. They mistake a single prayer for a lifetime of programming. Autosuggestion is not magic. It is repetition coupled with deep, burning emotion. It is the deliberate act of injecting your definite chief aim, your purpose, your required outcome, directly into the subconscious through the bridge of the five senses. You must write it down, read it aloud with intense conviction, and, most critically, feel the emotion of the accomplishment as if it has already occurred. You must feel the weight of the achievement, the relief of the victory, the pride of the finished work. This feeling, this emotional resonance, is the only language your subconscious mind truly understands. It is the fuel that powers the delivery system. The command, without the accompanying emotion, is just an empty word. The command, saturated with the feeling of certainty and faith, is an unstoppable law. This process transforms belief from a hopeful concept into an internal, vibrational certainty. It is the difference between I hope I succeed and I know success is in my hand. The subconscious doesn't care about the logistics. It only requires the certainty of the command. You don't tell the general contractor how to mix the concrete or frame the walls. You give them the blueprint and the budget and expect the finished structure. Your conscious mind is the architect, the subconscious mind is the construction crew. The blueprint must be flawless and the instruction must be unwavering. Do you have the courage to treat your inner life with that level of precision? This brings us to the relentless, often brutal necessity of discipline. The subconscious mind, being a non-judge, mental execution machine, will absorb and manifest whatever you feed it most often. If you spend 80% of your time consuming entertainment and 20% of your time thinking about your grand purpose, the 80% will win. Your habits are the physical, measurable evidence of your subconscious commands. Your actions reveal your true dominant programming. If you say you want wealth, but you are consistently undisciplined with small sums of money, your subconscious is executing the command of scarcity. If you say you want self-mastery, but you cannot resist the smallest, most petty distraction, your mind is commanding a life of reaction, not action. Discipline, therefore, is not a punishment. It is merely the process of aligning your external actions with your desired internal command. It is the absolute proof you are serious. The moment you commit to this alignment, you will encounter the greatest test, fear. Fear is the language of the old, unprogrammed self. It is the residue of past failures and the cautious warnings of the average world. Fear will manifest as procrastination, as doubt, as the sudden, overwhelming urge to quit when you are just on the verge of a breakthrough. This is the moment when you must understand that the battle is not external. It is a battle for the dominion over your mind. Fear is merely a counter. A man seeking to hijack the system, you must meet it not with avoidance, but with a deliberate, aggressive, and immediate reaffirmation of your definite chief aim. Hill called this the process of forcing yourself to act when the desire is lacking. You must move past the feeling and follow the instruction. The action itself is the only antidote to fear, and the action forces the subconscious to accept the new reality. Consider the story of Henry Ford. He set out to build the V8 engine, a concept his own engineers declared impossible, that it simply could not be cast in a single block. Ford, armed with an unshakable conviction and a definite chief aim, simply gave the order, produce it. The engineers worked for a year, declaring it impossible. Ford repeated the command, go right on working until you succeed. For 6 months more they worked, driven not by a new mechanical insight, but by the relentless, unwavering faith of their leader. Eventually they succeeded. The great irony is that Ford didn't need to know the technical solution. He just needed to command the system, his own mind and the collective mind of his mastermind group, to find it. That is the true power of an absolute law. It must yield to the man who knows what he wants and refuses to accept defeat. The subconscious mind also operates through the powerful, yet often misunderstood, force of the mastermind principle. You are not just programming your own mind, you are connecting it to a network. When two or more people coordinate in a spirit of perfect harmony toward a definite end, they create a third invisible force, a collective subconscious energy that is exponentially more powerful than the sum of its parts. Your mastermind group is not just a place to share ideas. It is a crucible where individual faith is refined into collective, unshakable conviction. You must choose your allies with the utmost deliberation, for their doubt or lack of ambition is a contaminant in your mental system. The voices you permit into your inner circle are either reinforcing your definite aim or eroding it. You cannot command a great fortune while maintaining constant counsel with those who believe in scarcity. Your environment must reflect the future you are commanding. This brings a vital element into play, adaptability in action. Once you set the command and maintain the conviction, the universe, which is simply the external manifestation of the great universal subconscious, will begin to respond. Opportunities will appear. The right books, the right people, and the right insights will seem to materialize out of thin air. This is not luck. This is the delivery system activating. But the delivery may not look exactly like the blueprint you drew initially. It will require you to act with resilience, to change the tactical approach without ever changing the strategic goal. If you encounter a setback, you must not interpret it as a command to quit. You must immediately interpret it as a command to adjust the method. The definite chief aim remains, the strategy is flexible. Edison failed 10,000 times not because his goal changed, but because his strategy for achieving light required that many iterations. The goal was light. The command was constant. The subconscious kept delivering feedback, and the conscious mind kept adapting the experiment. This is the ultimate self-correction loop of mastery. And what about gratitude? Many dismiss it as a passive, pleasant emotion, but within the mechanics of the subconscious, gratitude is one of the most powerful and immediate commands you can issue. Gratitude is the vibrational signature of abundance. When you feel genuine, deep gratitude for what you already have, you are sending a direct, powerful signal to the subconscious that says, this field is abundant. Send more of the same. Conversely, a life lived in constant complaint, focusing on lack, is a command for scarcity. It tells the subconscious, there is not enough here, maintain the deficit. Therefore, the practice of gratitude is not merely about being thankful, it is a critical, deliberate programming hack. It is the conscious activation of the abundance consciousness. It must be practiced not only when things are good, but especially when you are facing adversity, for that is the moment you force the mind to focus on what remains, not what has been temporarily lost. This is the mark of a true master, the ability to find the seed of equivalent advantage in every single setback. The final and most subtle secret is to live in the end result. The master who has successfully programmed their subconscious does not merely act as if they will succeed. They act from the absolute certainty that they already have succeeded. Every decision, every conversation, every investment of time or money is made from the perspective of the man or woman who has already achieved the definite chief aim. This is the crucial difference between affirmation and actualization. Affirmation is a statement of hope. Actualization is a state of being. You must feel the wealth, not just talk about it. You must inhabit the purpose, not just pursue it. This is the silent secret. The subconscious mind is the single, non-negotiable gateway to your destiny. It is a powerful, neutral force that awaits your instruction. Your life is not happening to you. It is happening from the commands you have permitted to be planted within. Your task is simple, yet demanding. To become a ruthless editor of your thoughts, a meticulous architect of your purpose, and an unyielding commander of your own mind. The fortune, the peace, the masterpiece you want to create, all of it is waiting for a single, clear, emotionally charged, and utterly unwavering command. What is the command you are sending today? Is it the passive whisper of doubt, or is it the thunderous, unshakable declaration of your definite chief aim? Choose now, command now, for the universe and the powerful servant within are already preparing to execute your instructions. The work is finished. Go and live the harvest you have deliberately planted.